So if you actually want to, if you're a beginner looking to upgrade from the kit lens, or if you're just looking for your next lens anyway, this is 5 reasons why I actually think you should buy the RF 50mm f1.8. The first reason why I think you should buy this little beast is because it's normally the cheapest lens you can buy for any camera system. That's either Canon, Fuji, Sony, you name it. You can normally buy this lens for £200 or less, and it won't break the bank either. You might be thinking, how can a lens that's actually cheaper than my kit lens be a worthy upgrade? Well, really, with the kit lens, you normally have such a versatile zoom range from 24mm all the way up to 105, and that's really good, especially if you're like a hobbyist traveller, and that's really all you need. But with the 50mm, it has a fixed focal length, so you can't zoom in, so you really have to move yourself if you actually want to get closer or further away from the subject. But because the aperture in this can stop down to f1.8, that's what separates this lens from the 50mm you'll find in the 24 to 105mm. However, with it being the actual cheapest lens that you can buy, it doesn't mean it's bad at all. Even the kit lens, you can get some wonderful images out of it. And that actually leads me on to my next point, is that the optical performance of this lens for photo and video is second to none. As soon as you start using this lens, you'll really see a huge upgrade over the kit lens. The sharpness of it is absolutely amazing. You can get some stunning images out of it, and with it being f1.8, you can really crush that background as well, so you can get some really professional looking shots. And that's actually one of the main reasons why professionals use this lens as well, because of how good it is. Some wedding photographers actually still use this lens now over the 50mm f1.2. Even for video as well, with that compression in that background, you can get some super amazing shots with the video, for b-roll, for anything wedding videography as well. And optical performance of it is so good, you will not be disappointed. Another reason why wedding photographers and videographers still use the 50mm f1.8 is not just because of the optical performance, it's actually because of the size and weight. If you actually compare it to the 50mm f1.2, you can already see here the difference in size of this as well. You don't even like notice it, so if you actually want to, you also don't even notice it when it's actually on your camera as well. Like if you actually look at the camera, if you want to be like little hidden and you don't really want to be standing out in front of everyone, put this lens on and you literally can't see it. Comparing it with like a 50mm f1.2 or a 70-200, you're going to stick out so much more using one of them lenses, obviously, than a 50mm f1.8. Also, the weight of it as well, it really does feel like that you've got no lens on the camera at all. It generally feels like you're just holding the camera with no lens on. Like if you, for example, thinking of what lenses you actually want to bring with you on your shoot, and like if you're looking at a 70-200, how big and heavy that lens actually is, it can actually be like, do I actually want to bring this on the shoot with me? Because one, I've got to find a big space for it in my camera bag, and two, if I don't use it, I've got to carry that around all day with me, and that weight is really going to weigh me down. It's probably going to hurt your back as well. However, with this one, even if your bag's full up with lenses and cameras, you can probably just put this in a little side pocket. It's that small. And another reason why people would always want to bring it with them anyway, no matter what, is because some say this is personal preference, but I think it's the perfect focal length. With it being 35mm can be a little bit too wide sometimes, so you want to punch in a little bit, and obviously you can move in, but with the compression it gives on this lens, it's absolutely amazing. You can still see the actual environment you're actually in, so it's not too tight like an 85mm. I think it's the perfect lens choice for compression and just anything really, just to get that professional image. A 35mm is such a nice wide angle, but I think when you actually start using like more tighter lenses like a 50 or an 85, that's really where cameras and lenses can actually separate yourself from like phones and that, because of that wonderful compression and sharpness that it actually gives. Every time I'm actually on like a photo shoot or video shoot, I really do seem to actually grab this lens like more times than any other lens really, just because I just love that focal length. And then moving on to the actual final point why I actually think you should buy a 50mm f1.8 is because of that f1.8 aperture itself. We've touched on it earlier with it being like out of focus backgrounds and how sharp the actual image can be, but it's also great for low light. Considering like a kit lens is like f4 to 7.1, if you're at like a 50mm range from the 24 to 105 lens, for example, that's normally at like f5 or f6. With this being at f1.8, you can open that aperture so widely and let so much light in. That means you don't have to up your ISO too much to get some nice clean images. Mix that low light performance at f1.8 with that out of focus background, with that juicy bokeh, you've got yourself such a small beast of a lens right here. Obviously it's not the perfect lens. For example, it's not weather sealed, it's not got image stabilization, so if you do want any of them, you will have to upgrade to either the 50mm f1.2 or maybe just go for a different focal length itself. So I think because of how much is actually packed into this lens with actual optical performance wise, I think a lot of people, including myself, is willing to not have image stabilization and weather resistance to be able to let this lens be the price that it's at, because it opens up to so many people, and people can get such professional images just by using this lens. If you actually can master this lens and master manual mode and master your camera, you'll be coming away getting professional shots way easier than if you're using a kit lens. Now, if you actually want to see my full review on the Canon RF 50mm f1.8, where I actually talk more in depth about the pros and the cons of this lens, then why don't you click over here to actually go straight to that video and watch my review on it. So thank you very much for watching, and I guess I'll see you guys on the next video. See you later.